So this is just a quick review of some of the concepts we talked about the past couple of days and last week. So on Friday we talked about sample space, and we said sample space is just the possible outcomes. So what are the possible outcomes? Well, in this case, we're spinning a spinner, and it's located to the right. What would the possible outcomes be? And take a second and think, what would the possible outcomes be? Well, if we're looking, we have three possible outcomes. We can land on 1, 2, or 3. So for the sample space, it would be 1, 2, 3. And that once again tells us these are the possible outcomes. So question 2 is going to ask us to find the probability of spinning and landing on a 3. And it is asking us something different than the sample space. It's not asking us what the sample space is, it's asking us what is the probability. And think back to probability, and when we're finding probability, we're setting it up as favorable outcomes over total outcomes. So let's take a second and think, what would our favorable outcomes be? Well, we want to spin and land it on a 3. Look at your spinner. There's only one section that's a 3, meaning there's a 1 for our favorable outcome. One section of the spinner is a 3. What are the total number of outcomes? Well, there's 3 sections, 1 over 3. This would be our probability of spinning and landing on a 3. For question 3, what is the probability of spinning and landing on a 1 or 2? So now once again we're talking about landing on a 1 or a 2. We'll look at that spinner. There are 2 sections that are favorable. We have a section on a 1 and a section for 2, meaning favorable outcomes would be 2, total outcomes would be 3. That's the probability of spinning and landing on a 1 or 2. Last, it's going to ask us to draw a tree diagram to represent the outcomes. So we're talking about a tree diagram. We're just talking about visually seeing all the possible outcomes. So we want to say, what are the outcomes of spinning the spinner twice? Well, on the first spin, we can land on a 1, 2, or 3. On my second spin, if I land on a 1, I can then land on a 1, 2, or 3 again. If I land on a 2 in my first spin, I can land on a 1, 2, or 3 again. And if I land on a 3 in my first spin, I can land on a 1, 2, or 3 again. This will just be a tree diagram to show the possible outcomes. And if it asks us to list all possible outcomes, which it does, remember we're just saying, well, 1, 1 would be an outcome, 1, 2 would be an outcome, 1, 3 would be an outcome. We can land on 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3. And last but not least, 3, 1, 3, 2, 3, 3. And once again, all we're doing is we're kind of looking and saying we can go 1, 1, we can go 1, 2, 1, 3. That's how we're getting these possible outcomes. Now this question here is going to introduce us to the counting principle, which we saw yesterday in class. And we said tree diagrams are great, but if we're dealing with a lot of different options or large numbers, it could take a while to A, draw a tree diagram, and B, find all possible outcomes. So we can use the counting principle to help us with these possible outcomes. So this problem is actually from the video, so it's just a quick refresher from the video, yesterday's video. And it's going to give us, once again, Jonas, who wants to wear an outfit. And once again, he has an option of 6 shirts. He has an option of 4 pants, 2 shoes, and 3 types of jackets. So how many different possible outfits does he have? Well, remember, to find the possible outcomes, in this case the possible outfits, we just multiply those numbers from above. 6 shirts times 4 pants times 2 shoes times 3 jackets. And if we multiply all of those together, we would come out with the possible number of outcomes. And in this case, it would be 144 possible outfits. So that would be the possible outcomes, the possible number of outfits. The next question asked us, well, if he knows what shirt and jacket he wants to wear, how many different outfits will he be happy with? So now we're saying, well, he knows the number, he knows what shirt and what jacket he wants to wear. So once again, he knows what shirt and he knows what jacket he wants to wear. If he knows what shirt he wants to wear, he no longer has 6 options, he has 1 option, that shirt. He doesn't know what pants to wear, so it's still going to be times 4 because he has 4 options. Doesn't know what shoes he wants to wear, times 2, 2 shoes, 2 types of shoes. And last but not least, once again, he knows what jacket he wants to wear. He has 1 option, that jacket. So similar idea, we're going to multiply them all together, and that would give us 8. So he has 8 outfits he'd be happy with, because there's only 8 outfits that would include that shirt and that jacket. Last but not least, what is the probability that if Jonas were to randomly choose an outfit, he would be happy with it? Well, there's 8 outfits he's happy with out of 144 possible outfits. So what's the probability? 8 out of 144. And once again, you could simplify and end up with 1/18.